Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Thank you for waiting in the live chat. If you're watching this later on Friday night, I will be going live Saturday morning before the Saturday games. Let's see if there is a play we can manufacture for Saturday. I wasn't in love with the games, although there's been some line movement. I think there'll be some props we can hit. And let's be honest, even though the Saturday games aren't that delicious, even though my Vikings are playing Bills, Dolphins, they're not the best slate of games. I think there's some props we can take advantage of if we really sit down and get up in it, if you know what I'm saying. Saturday morning, I'll be live, probably like 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern time. Let's get it. How's everyone doing? What's up, Dirty Sanchez? What's up, Tasha? What's up, SRI Entertainment? Dude, I can never say it. Dude, life is good, man. And, I was a little bit remorseful. I didn't go big on the 49ers last night. A little bit remorseful about it. Liked them the whole week. The Purdy injury news might have been what scared me off. But really what scared me off is just the way this season has flown. And we're still ahead on every metric. But yeah, some of the things we've seen this year have been out of control, absolutely asinine. And there's games being decided that have nothing to do with football, have nothing to do with scheme, have nothing to do with talent. On Instagram, I posted this. Let's just start with this because this is the storyline that really got me excited before we went live. This is from John Jones. What's up, Mr. Lawson? What's up, John? I hope you're having a good day, man. Hope you had a great week. Let's get this money. Quick question. With White being out and the Lions rolling right now, and every week their D is getting a little bit better, money pick Lions. Money at Lions. Lions. And if you were on Patreon, you saw the future bet I put in. I went big on it. The biggest future bet I ever put in. Really challenging odds. We're talking plus 280, plus 300 odds. But I went big on it. If you're not on Patreon, $5, you can see what I put in. Going big on it. But let's get to this Jets game. Lions moved up to -1.5. I absolutely like the Lions in this game. The reason why I was hesitant about this game when I picked Tuesday was because of Mike White. Now, I'm not trying to spin anyone a dream or try to create some sort of narrative that Mike White is a good quarterback or that he's a future starter in this league. I'm not going to go there. You guys know I'm not going to do that. But Mike White has played a lot better than Zach Wilson this year. And we were picking on Zach Wilson the whole year. Remember when people were arguing with us, even on this live chat, saying, oh, Jets are good. They're going to win 12 games. Zach's going to get better. No, he never got better. He was a bottom 3 quarterback in this league like we said he was. And then you get Mike White, you get a little bit of that gunslinger mentality. He'll sit in the pocket. He'll take punishment. Unfortunately, he took just a bit too much punishment. And that's why your reason, what you said, this Lions defense isn't self-destructing like they were before. Everyone used to pick on their run defense, but a lot of their run defensive problems was from scheme, them blitzing, them sending the house to the right side of the line, Seahawks run left. If you remember that Seahawks-Lions game. I just think this Lions team is more mature, and we know this Jets defense is an absolute juggernaut, and I'm not trying to undermine them by any means, but I do think this Lions offense has the creativity to win the game, to manufacture points. And I'm not so sure Zach Wilson-led offense can get into the 20s. I'm not so sure. A Mike White-led offense, I honestly think could get to like 24 or 27 against the Lions and turn it into a little bit of a cold weather shootout. But I just don't see that with Zach Wilson. And I do see the Lions getting turnovers. And when I hear Zach Wilson, I hear turnover battle being won by the other squad. So I like the Lions. I think it's a money pick, man. I think that pendulum was what put me over the edge. That's what I like, man. I'm sure we're talking about Warren Flowers. Great pick last night. Thanks, Warren. Yeah, Thursday night has been. You almost want to pick the game, you put your logic in, you pick what team you think is better, what team gets the better coaching, what team is healthy. But normally on Thursday night, you should just go the other way and pick who you don't think will win. Finally, a team who we thought would win. Bills did it against the Patriots for us. But, yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Chantal Dean, what's up? Love your videos all the way from the Bahamas. What's up, my man? Would this shirt do good in the Bahamas? Because I've never been there. I worked with a guy who was from Jamaica, and he would wear these different type of polo shirts. It's almost hard for me to describe it. Like it would have like two pockets. And they would be like a little bit longer than this. I don't know, man. I've always wanted to visit the Bahamas. Dirty Sanchez, John, please, I need your opinion. Start Chuber, Hubbard, or Akers in fantasy football this week. That's a tough one, man. No, actually, it's not. Go Cam Akers. Now, both running backs have concerns about touches because we've seen Devontae Foreman going crazy for the Panthers, and we've seen Cam Akers in Sean McVay's doghouse the whole year. But that Packers run defense is jelly, man. And you got to think Cam Akers is going to get 10, 11 rush attempts, and he's going to get the ball thrown to him 3 or 4 times. Give me Cam Akers in that. Very confident in Cam Akers over Chuber Hubbard. Frank Panico, John, Money Bears. For the cover, it's up to 9.5. One thing I like about that Eagles-Bears game is I really like the over. I know 48.5 is really high. I get it. It's just when Justin Fields gets in a game, these games always seem to push over. I wanted people's opinion about that. How do you feel about that? People are asking about the Vikings game. Is it down to -3? Let's go double check it. Because when I checked it earlier this afternoon, it was, I believe it was at -3.5 when I checked it. Okay, right now it's at -3.5. I would go Vikings. And I'm going to play psychologist here when I look at this game. One thing we've liked about the Colts whole year, and one thing that hasn't been talked about enough when we look at the Colts, is how good their defense has been. I was on the phone with Dion Connolly earlier today. He says Kenny Moore's out, which obviously isn't good. I've noticed Stephon Gilmore's play dipping as the year goes on, and you do wonder, has this Colts defense ran out of fight? On the other side of the ball, you got a Vikings defense that is struggling. A lot of people are saying Vikings should fire Ed Donatel at defensive coordinator. I share those views, but it's a little bit late in the game, right? Vikings have serious problems in the secondary, but we've known that the whole year. We've already known that. We've already adjusted our bets for that. I'm going Vikings to win in the cover with it moving down. Because firstly, the Colts should start losing games. Listen, do they want to go forward with Matt Ryan and Sam Ehlinger? When was the last time they had a young bull at quarterback there? Like, they really have to start thinking about draft pick. And I'm not a tank guy. I like fighting to the end, and NFL players don't quit. But at a certain point, the Colts have to just throw up the white flag, and they have to understand that this isn't going good. And Matt Ryan next year without our young rookie in there is going to be absolute garbage. So when I'm looking at that game, I think the Vikings offense responds, and Vikings need one game to clinch the division. I think they play the Giants after this. I like the Vikings, and I think the Colts offense really struggles here. Even though I watched that Colts Cowboys game, and Colts were within one score at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This Colts game will make game sweaters. If you do pick the Vikings -3.5, by that half point, if they're not robbing you at your book. If it's a fair price, buy the half a point and then ride with it. Yeah, lots to talk about Jamaica. I love Jamaica. It's awesome. Ital Gio, hey John, Survivor Pool, Cincinnati or Denver or no names? Cincinnati. I would go Cincinnati or Washington. I know you're tempted to use Denver because Russell Wilson won't be starting. I understand the logic there. I think Rippon's going to actually give them a little bit of a boost. But give me Cincinnati in that situation. But Doc, I'll just read your comment, Doc. Lawson, Cowboys are better offensively and defensively. Why are they not a lock? I'm not a Trevor Lawrence guy for the record. Because you listen to the show, most people will say you're a Trevor Lawrence mark. One guy made a video about us earlier this year saying how this station shills for Trevor Lawrence, and kind of whiplashed, boomeranged back at him these last 5-6 weeks with Trevor Lawrence playing top 10 quarterback ball. That didn't age well. Okay. I worry about the Cowboys showing up, man. And call me a little bit snake bitten. Call me a bit emotional. But ever since the Cowboys didn't take care of business against a really, really, really poor Green Bay Packers team, I've been cautious about them. I've been very cautious about them. I've still picked them to cover spreads. I've still picked them to win games, of course, but I'm very, very cautious about them. And I think you should be too, because the pass rush is legit, but where was it against the Packers? Like, everyone's been hitting Aaron Rodgers this year, everyone knocking him around 5, 6, 7 times a game. And, you get the best pass rush in the league, and they barely touch him. And I see Micah Parsons covering slot running backs. And, the problem with Dallas a little bit is their scheme on defense, man. And one problem with Dallas is they don't change up coverages. They just play man-to-man, man-to-man, man-to-man. They don't add in zone. They play man-to-man with Malik Hooker playing deep. That's all they do. And at a certain point, if you're facing a good offensive coordinator, a quarterback who can buy some time in the pocket, they will hit stuff down the field. And there is the problems of the Cowboys showing up. They could have lost to the Texans last week. Like, if Davis Mills didn't touch the field and it was just Driscoll, you can make the argument the Cowboys should have lost that game last week. Oh, thank you, Mag, for the super chat. Happy holidays, Lawson. Thank you. I will put this towards buying a turkey. I appreciate it. Yeah. I just feel like this is a game to lay off, and we've been right about the Jags this whole year, and they've been covering. And once they get in a throw first mode, they're extremely dangerous, very, very dangerous. They're no joke. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to get to the Patreon questions. I'm going to keep answering them on YouTube. Okay, Patreon contest. Just want to give an update. The tiebreakers are in. First place is Tyrese. First place is Tyrese. He'll be winning $500. Second place is Victor Verdon. He'll be winning $200. In the third place runoff, we had 7 or 8 people. Yi Fang had an 8-2 record to take the third place runoff. He will get $100. Congratulations. Thank you for participating on Patreon. I prefer to send with PayPal. But if you guys need to use Zelle or Venmo, I'll be happy to make arrangements with you. I might have to have a family member send it due to the fact that Cash App and Zelle blocks you if you're outside the United States. So just keep that in mind. Work with me in the Patreon messages. I'll get you your money. Congratulations. $9.99 from Dirty Sanchez. Thank you for all the knowledge, brother. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dirty Sanchez, man. Hope you have a great Christmas, great holidays, great New Year's Day. New Year's is always good, man. Especially for the football. I think we got NFL New Year's Day this year. We got NFL Christmas Day. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to NFL knocking NBA off that pedestal. Here we go. Yeah, man. Lawson, I need some hitters tomorrow. Hit the Niners in the under yesterday. I'm going live Saturday morning because I want to get some props for those games. And then we've seen a little bit of line movement. Like we saw the Vikings go from -4 to -3.5 today. That was a bit alluring. Maybe we see some more line movement tomorrow. So that's why I'm going live. I want to get some props in for tomorrow. I'm going to do the research tonight. But yeah, man, there's some good games to bet this week. Yeah, we hit the Niners under, Niners against the spread. A lot of people were disagreeing with that under. I thought that under was strong the whole week. I'm not just saying it because it hit, but I felt like that under was really, really strong and calling out all week. I'm not sure why no one hit it. Not many people wrote it, man. Thank you for the super chats too. Really appreciate it. And thank you. Yeah, I got my hair cut today. Feeling good, man. Feeling good going into this weekend. Okay, here we go. I'm going to get to the Patreon questions. I keep asking the questions on YouTube. Let's get it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, and just if you join late, I have made Lions a money pick with the news that Zach Wilson will be starter. The reason why I was hesitant on that game was just due to Mike White being able to sling it. That was one thing that made me a little bit hesitant. And of course, golf and cold weather isn't always the best situation to be in, but I think it's a good time to pounce. No pun intended with the Lion reference. John, do you follow UFC? I do, but mostly during the off season. I like UFC. There's a lot of good things about it, and it's really big in Brazil, as you know, because Brazil's got a lot of UFC fighters, and then it creates like a little country rivalry that's pretty good, man. And yeah, I follow it. I like it. There's lots of good fights. I really liked Adesanya against the Brazilian guy. Like, I'm casual as fuck with UFC, though, so keep that in mind. Betting UFC and my hair would be gray. It's one of the most Frank Panico, Lawson, John, love your insight on NFL, but do my Commanders cover on primetime TV and playoffs on the line? I think the Commanders make the playoffs, but I don't think they cover. This is the same situation as the first game. First game was, Giants plus 2.5 at home. I was on an island. I had the Giants. Ended up being a tie. And had we seen either of these teams do anything since that time to change our mind, to make us think, oh, like this team got better? Maybe you could say the Giants are in free fall, and I wouldn't disagree with you. But I think these teams are evenly matched, and I think it's going to be a field goal game. I like the Giants to cover. We just, with Heineke, man, here's my problem with Heineke. The turnovers, even though I like the Commanders scheme, they're running it a lot. They have a lot of play action. They like attacking over the middle, which are all good things to do in the NFL. But if you make Heineke have a really long drive, at the end of the day, he's going to throw you a few. And Dable is such a good coach, man. He keeps Giants in games. And sometimes I just hold up my hands and say, I don't know how Dable's doing it. And I picked the Giants to cover the spread based on not a lot of science. Commanders will win the game, though. And I think the Commanders present some interesting matchups in the playoffs. I'm curious to see the Commanders in the playoffs. But even if you look at when the Commanders covered for us against the Falcons, they're really slow-paced games. You know, most games at the 1 o'clock window, what time do they end? 4:15, 4:20, sometimes 4:10. Commanders games, they end at like 3:35. They're really quick games, lots of ball control, not a lot of passes. I mean, fewer possessions. You got to take the points with the fewer possessions. Here we go. Going to get to the Patreon questions. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be live Saturday morning before the Saturday games. Lino Frosto. What's good, Playboy? Let's stack this money this week. I heard on the over-under video, you said the Titans got butt rammed. What team do you think gets butt rammed this week? Also, any thoughts on some teasers? This week is a complicated week for teasers, but I'll get back to you on that, Lino, because I will be posting a teaser on Patreon tonight. Who do I think is going to get butt rammed this week? I would go – I mean, you could just say the Texans, but I think the Texans actually cover that game the more I think about it. I think a team that's going to get absolutely like demoralized and get their soul sucked from them is Tampa Bay, but I want to pick a more surprising team. I think the Packers are going to have one of those types of weeks. I just think the Packers are going to really, really struggle. I think the Packers aren't going to have an easy out with the Rams. I haven't liked what I've seen from the Packers this whole year. I don't think a bye week makes them play any better, so I'll go to the Packers, man. I'm not saying the Rams are going to win that game, but I think that's like a 3-4 point game. I feel like the 7 is an awful lot for that game the whole week, if we're talking about spread. But I am curious, man, if the Titans respond this week against the Chargers. I'm staying away from it, but that is one storyline I'm watching. Can the Titans respond against the Chargers? Mr. Goss hit the pick'em pool 2 weeks in a row, a few backs. Thanks, John. Money. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man. I got every single year money line. I'm in the top 1%. I wish everything was money line because sometimes with the spread you can get a little bit screwed, like we've seen this year, man. Okay, here we go. Raul Regalado. What's up, Raul? I like the Lions' future. Back following you on that one. Let's go. My bad. I gave away it. Clutch, clock, and 4 kicks. Kind of surprised you didn't bet the 49ers on Thursday night. Seemed like such a good spot for them, and it was. Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, but I liked them the whole week. Was debating betting it the whole day. I just left it to you guys to just take my analysis and use it for what you need to use it for. It's, and They were even putting out media reports that Brock Purdy wouldn't start. Obviously, he started and played pretty good, and when they start, that's one thing that got me worried. And but yeah, and on Thursday night, I gotta admit, your boy has gotten a little bit snake bitten. Because sometimes on Thursday night, a lot of the times on Thursday night, your analysis, your work, analyzing the game, who's better, who's going to play better defense, what's the trench better look like, it doesn't make a damn fucking bit of difference. It doesn't. Because there's so many teams that don't show up on Thursday night. It just is. And this year more than any other year. I see a lot of you guys bet the 49ers anyways. I had it in the video. Yeah, man. And the under as well, but I did see a lot of people were going for the over. Okay, here's another question from Clock and 4 Kicks. I like the Bengals this week, but I kind of feel like there might be a better spot. Oh, thank you. I like the Bengals this week, but I kind of feel like there might be a better spot on the card. Lions is now at plus 1.5. I love the Lions, man. And I agree with what you're saying about a possible no-show from the Bengals. But like I said, I'm not letting this shit get into my head. I have to look at the matchups. I have to look at the offense line versus defense line, and I have to keep analyzing games. And I can't keep thinking, oh, Bengals aren't going to show up, or Bengals covered the last 3 weeks, or, oh, the NFL wants to fix it so they get Brady in for the playoffs. I mean, fuck, man, it's looking like Bucs could lose out and still get into the playoffs the way it's going. I understand what you're saying, but I've gotten like, I get scared about every bet for the last 4 or 5 years. But I do agree with what you're saying, though. This year is a little bit of a different feeling because there's been a lot of manipulation, a lot of off-the-wall stuff that has been happening in these games. And, you know, look at last week. The Texans almost beat the Cowboys. If a team doesn't show up, any team can cover plus 3.5. So, of course, can we mitigate those situations? Of course. We can mitigate that, try to judge the team psychology, judge the situation of the season. But let's look at the team psychology for the Bengals right now. They're tied for the division lead with the Baltimore Ravens. Tied. And so they got to win it, man. And I think they're going to come out and play good. When I checked the injury report yesterday for the Bengals, it was looking a little bit better. It looks like Hendrickson, they ruled Hendrickson out, which is a problem. Mike Hilton got ruled out. I figured that would happen. Hayden Hurst has been ruled out. Yeah, it's a bad injury report, man. It's a bad injury report, no doubt. I believe Tyler Boyd will play. I believe T. Higgins will play. So it should be enough against the Buccaneers. And for me, the Buccaneers are one of the worst teams in the league. And I think they're getting some of the worst play calling in the league as well. So anything can happen any given Sunday, right? But I see what you're saying. A lot of refs interfering with outcomes, team faking player injuries all week. Now they say Kyler Murray injury is fake. It's crazy, man. RG, the thing that got me, man, yesterday was them saying Brock Purdy was like a game time decision. That really bothered me. You know, I thought it was FUD. You know, but I got over 1,000 people on Patreon, and when I send out the dogs come out, man. And yeah, so some of this shit and yeah, what's going on with the Kyler Murray injury? Can someone fill me in on that? Jesus, man. But yeah, we've seen it a lot this year. A lot of crazy stuff going down. Dicko, well done on the San Fran pick, John. Thank you, Dicko. I hope you had a good Thursday night. I hope you did, my man. Dicko, John, your thoughts on Philadelphia, Chicago, and being a look-forward game for Philly up against in a huge division game following week. Okay, let me read it again. John, your thoughts on Philadelphia, Chicago being a so-called trap game for Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's playing Dallas next week, and you seem to think Philly might be looking ahead. Justin Fields at home after a bye. I like the Bears to cover a 9 for a home dog. It's a big number. Dicko, I like your methodology. I just think you should use this energy in something else. 9's a lot of points in this league. I'll tell you why I'm concerned about that. Here's why I'm concerned about it. The psychology of this is completely correct. And if you were to put a small bet on the Bears to cover, I wouldn't smug my nose. It makes sense. But let me tell you why I'm worried. I'm worried because the Bears are kind of tanking on the defensive side of the football. You know, we saw them trade Robert Quinn. We saw them trade Roquan Smith. They're a little bit banged up in the secondary. And we've seen this defense be maybe the worst defense in the NFL the last 3 or 4 weeks of the year. I mean, maybe you could say the Texans are worse, and that's fair enough. I'm sure we could find another team that sucks ass on defense, but Bears are pretty much a bottom 3 defense in the league at this point. And they used to play good defense, at least competitive defense, before they traded away their 2 best players on defense. That's what I worried about. But you're 100% right in your analysis of Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a motherfucking baller, man. And he can make something out of nothing. And I would just redirect your energy to the over. I know 48.5 is a pretty big number when we talk about, you know, a bad Bears team against a Philly team. I know it's 48.5 is a big number, but I like that because it's similar methodology to what you said in the comment. I think Justin Fields is going to create points. He's going to create big plays. Even when Justin Fields is off his game, he creates 3 or 4 gigantic plays every single game. And I think that's enough to push this towards over. And even with the Eagles looking forward to Dallas next week, man, I seem to think that either way, even if the Philadelphia Eagles are on like their C- game, I feel like the Eagles can get into the 27, 30-point mark. And if you think the Bears are going to cover this, it makes me feel even more confident about this over 48.5. Makes me feel really confident, man. Moneyline Repo, Lawson, my brother. What's up, Money? What's up, Moneyline? Hope you're having a good day. I don't like how the Browns have been looking at all since Watson's return. I agree. We both know Tyler Huntley is not garbage and can ball, but will the Browns cover my plus 7.5 alternative spread, or do I need to go another route? No, they'll cover that. Don't panic. You're 100% right in everything you said, but let's not panic here. I don't think the Browns even lose this game, man. And with Huntley starting, it changes the methodology a little bit. But when I'm looking at this game, I think the Browns play good defense, and I think the Ravens are limited on what they can do on offense. I like the Browns with the alternative spread. I don't think you'll be that bad. And a trick when betting teasers, if a game has a low total, like I think the total in the Browns Ravens off the top of my head is 37. If the total is low, that makes teasers more powerful. They hit at a higher clip. Give me the Browns plus 7.5. I think you'll be good on that one. This is from Derek. Hey, bro, need survivor advice. Do you trust the Packers at home this week against the Rams, or Chargers at home week 17, also against the Rams. If I take the Packers this week, I can save KC for week 17 when they're at home against the Broncos. Or if I take KC this week, then I'd have to use the Chargers to beat the Rams week 17. Using the Titans at home over Texas for week 16. What do you think? Thank you for your work and dedication. What's up there, Derek? I think you should use the Chiefs this week. And I think you should use the Chargers week 17 against the Rams. And I think your use of the Titans against the Texans is completely warranted and probably the best play you could do. Now, I do think the Packers win the game, but I'm really high on the Rams to cover the spread. Now, does that mean the Rams winning the game? Probably not. But you're this far in your survivor, I don't think you want to take any risk. I would go that route, man. So let me make it clear to you. Let me read your comment and make it really clear to you. Do not take the Packers this week. Either way, you have to take the Packers, correct, at some point. Actually take them because you have to take them at some point. No. Packers, let me think. Okay, go with what I said previous. I'm overthinking it. Give me the Chargers week 17. Yeah, give me the Chargers week 17 against the Rams and use KC this week. And then Chargers, and then the Titans against the Texans is perfect. I got a little mixed up because you're going weeks in advance. Yeah, Jeff, exactly. Because teams do rest their guys. I mean, I've even seen teams rest guys 2 games out. I mean, and there could be situations like that. Although home field advantage is absolutely like just completely tight. So I wouldn't go. I don't know if I'd go. We'll see, man. I got a little confused by that question, but it makes sense. The Hound, what's up, bro? Any more thoughts on the Chargers-Titans game? Really liking the Chargers in that one with Mike Williams back at full health. The Chargers seem to have finally opened up their playbook so Herbert can really sling it down the field. Keep doing you, man. Let's finish the season strong. Let's go, Hound. I'm looking forward to the playoffs. I think we're going to have a gigantic playoffs. I like the Chargers. I think the Chargers against the Titans is a borderline money pick. I got a little bit scared on Tuesday because we've seen the Titans play like crap the last 2 games. They've been absolutely reprehensible. They haven't played good ball. They've been churning the ball over. And if the Titans churn the ball over, they have absolutely no chance to win, man. We know that, and there's no need to overanalyze it. But one thing that's worrying me about the Titans, and one reason why I love the Chargers in this game, is the Titans aren't running the ball good. And they haven't ran the ball good in like 3 or 4 weeks. And the way to attack, the way to beat the Chargers defense is you pound it down their throat and you pound them physically. I'm just not so sure the Titans are going to stick to the run this game. And I think the Chargers can really load up on the box with Treylon Burks out. I like the Chargers, man. And like you said, with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen back, it puts the Chargers as a completely different offense. And now it looks like the Chargers are getting plays down the field. And even though this Titans secondary was really, really good the first 12 weeks of the year, I still think they're vulnerable. And they're not getting that good a pass rush. Mikhail, hey, John, what do you think about Cincinnati's chances this week? I like Cincinnati. The injury report didn't look good, man. And let's be realistic, the injury report didn't look good. There's no other way to put it. But I think Tampa's a really bad football team. And I know the hook is a little bit dangerous in this game. but I think Cincinnati rolls through them. It looks like Boyd will play. Higgins is up in the air. Hendrickson's out. Mike Hilton's out. But I already knew Mike Hilton was going to be out. And one thing about Tampa Bay is just the play calling is so bad. The run up the middle to get 2 or 3 centimeters. And then another thing that's concerning is I don't know if there's a left tackle in this league playing worse football than Donovan Smith. I just don't, man. And I'm really concerned about the Buccaneers. I don't know if the Buccaneers will win more than one game. Like, I think they get one game before the season ends, but I can't see them getting much more than that. And you always listen, with everyone probably backing the Bengals, you get nervous, especially with the way the cookie has been crumbling this year. But I'm not changing my methodology. I'm not getting off of it. I'm still sticking with it. That's where I'm at, man. Here we go. More questions on Patreon. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get this money. I like the draw in Croatia versus Morocco, Jonathan Ramirez, by the way. I actually really like that. That makes sense. I also think France-Argentina finishes full-time 0-0. Not sure what will happen in extra time and penalties, but I do think France and Argentina finishes 0-0 if we're talking World Cup. Okay, here we go. Robert Filage, our future bets at normal stakes or less than 1.5. Thank you. Good luck. The Lions, one was, they were bigger than my normal bet. Bigger than my normal bet. I won't say how much, but they were bigger. This is from Daniel. What's up, John? How do you feel about the Chargers being an absolute college fun pick? I think they're healthy now, and their wide receiving core will destroy my Titans, probably 44-10 final. I'm really feeling like the Jags will overtake us, and we're going to miss the playoffs. Your thoughts? Money, money, money. I'm feeling pumped for this weekend. Yeah, Daniel, I'm liking this weekend too, and I just talked about that game. But I'm feeling your sentiments, and I think this is a good week to ride with the Chargers. I saw in some books it was -2.5 even. And one thing that I do think that is overrated about the Titans is their secondary. They played good this year, but I do feel it's overrated, and I do feel like you can attack it if you have the right receivers, and now the Chargers have the right receivers back. And I'm looking at that game, man, and I don't know if the Titans can run the ball. I mean, that's the big question. And when have we ever had questions about the Titans running the ball good? Since the Vrabel era started. I don't think we've ever doubted their run game, but they just haven't ran it good the last 3 weeks. And then you add in the turnovers, and it's looking like damn hard for the Titans to win a damn game. And I'm looking at the Chargers, and I'm really concerned about their run defense still, but the rest of their defense is playing good. They're covering better. They're getting a little bit of a better pass rush. And without Treylon Burks, you do think that the Chargers can just load up the box and absolutely pounce them. You do feel like that. And I feel I agree with your sentiments. The more the week has gone on, the more I've shifted to this side. Now, the Titans, I wouldn't use college fund because we always have to be worried about that Titans run game getting going due to what we've seen from the Chargers run defense this year. But the Chargers run defense looks like they've been solving a little bit of problems. So I like that game. Stephen Laidlaw. Do you feel the Colts defense could surprise the Vikes this week? I do. Kenny Moore is out for the Colts, so that opens up a little bit room for either Thielen or Jefferson. Normally, Jefferson plays on the right side. Stephon Gilmore plays on the left side. So I do think that'll open some things up for the Vikings. But I do feel like the Colts defense will have a good game, and I like the under in this game as well due to that. And I don't think the Colts will win the game because I think Matt Ryan will struggle. even though the Vikings defense is really, really bad, you have to throw it against them, and you have to throw it vertically against them. And I'm not so sure the Colts and Matt Ryan are ready to do that. Matt Ryan's arm looks worse than Drew Brees' arm in his last year, if you understand what I'm saying. But I think the Colts defense has a good game, man. I don't think they completely shut down my Vikings. Like, I don't think the Vikings are going to finish the game with like 10 or 13 points, but the Vikings certainly aren't getting into the 30s this game. And I would be surprised if the Vikings got past 24 points. I think the Vikings range in this game is 17 to 20. And against Matt Ryan, that's enough to win. Ace Relay Magic, who you got on a neutral field? Philly versus San Fran, and what would you make the spread? On a neutral field with Brock Purdy, I would make it Philly -2 on a neutral field. That's probably what I would have it at, and I think that speaks to how good a coach Shanahan is, how good that San Fran defense is, and it's interesting, man. It's interesting. So I would say San Fran +2. And you want to know what? I might have to ride San Fran +2 in that game because I keep waiting for the Eagles to fix their run defense. And I got a little bit optimistic with them getting Linval Joseph because Linval's an absolute baller at defensive tackle. But I'm not convinced. Maybe it's the wide 9 scheme. Maybe it's that they've already clicked. I don't know what it is with the Eagles, but they have a hard time stopping the run. I would go Eagles -2 due to that. And we have to factor in the quarterback situation with San Fran. If San Fran had Jimmy G, I think would be a pick 'em right down the middle. But I think right now it's Eagles -2 with Brock Purdy. Although, maybe it should be out a little bit more. Although I still think there's a way, for the 49ers to win that game. Sean Moore, hey Lawson, 2 parts. Do you see Philly winning out, or are they due for one? Second, there's a lot of chatter about the Pats moving away from Bill Belichick. If the failed Matt Patricia experiment continues as it's going, that would be funny. I found an interesting bet about potential landing spots for BB if he is caught from the Patriots. How true do you think this is? My personal opinion is they should bring in a new GM and strip him of that role. Your thoughts? Wow. Your opinion is correct, Sean. I do think they have a problem with player analysis, player development, scouting there. Listen, we can go through the drafts, but I don't want to waste anyone's time. We know how bad those drafts are. We know what a bust N'Keal Harry was. We know how bad the supporting cast was there the last 2 years of Tom Brady's career. I mean, they wasted 2 years of maybe the greatest football player we'll ever get to see with poor drafts, poor free agency, poor player development. So I agree with you, but I don't think Bill will leave. Actually, I do think Bill Belichick will bow out. I do think this could be his last year. I'll tell you why. Bill Belichick's been saying things like this the last year and a half. I just want to work with people I like. I just want to work with people I feel comfortable with. And, when he said that, everyone was like, oh, I agree, Bill. I mean, it makes sense. Hoodie, you're great. I get it. And then, 6 months later, after he was saying stuff like that, we get Matt Patricia and Joe Judge with their hands in the offense. Why is Matt Patricia calling plays? Why is Matt Patricia calling offensive plays, man? That's fucking unacceptable. Could you imagine if Jeff Saturday tried to get away with something like that? Could you imagine how the media would have a heart attack if, let's say, Josh McDaniels did that, or who's another coach? Could you imagine if Arthur Smith did that in Atlanta? How much media vitriol he would get? And no, the coverage wasn't positive. It wasn't positive when Bill made that decision. But goddamn, man, goddamn, it was bad. So I do think it could drive him. And the reason why I think you're right, man, is I don't think Bill's gonna sacrifice him. Maybe out of loyalty, maybe out of being stubborn. Like, he hasn't changed the way he's drafted players or anything about it the last 6 years. And it really hasn't worked in 5 or 6 years. And I don't know, the drafts have been really bad. I would even go up to like 8, 9 years, but I grade drafts a little bit differently. Like, we can all agree that the last 5 years have been absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Brian Webb, thank you for the super chat, my friend. $10. Let's get this money, Lawson. I love the Jags this week. How do you feel about the Steelers, Raiders, and Dolphins game? I'm scared of that weather. Let's get this. Dolphins game. I do wonder, though. Now, hear me out with this Dolphins game. And maybe I'm trying to be a little bit too, how can I say it? Maybe I'm trying to be a little bit too hipster, or maybe think I have the biggest brain in the room. But doesn't the lake effect, snow, the wind alerts kind of help keep this game close? Now, listen, I understand. Tua has a weak arm. Josh Allen has probably the strongest arm in this league. When we're talking about 30, 40, 50 mile per hour wind gusts, I get it, man. I get it. And you want Josh Allen in that game. But I do think the Dolphins are able to keep it close. And I do think that weather will help them keep it close. And the Dolphins haven't showed up the last 2 weeks. One would think they would show up. I'm out on an island on this Dolphins to cover thing. And I do think this weather helps keep it close and just makes it an absolute ugly game. Looking forward to it on Saturday night. Raiders. I actually forgot who Raiders and Patriots. I think this one is one we can't bet. But if I had to bet a side, I would go the Patriots. I want the Patriots against the Cardinals, but, got a little luck with Kyler Murray getting hurt there. So that game's one I wouldn't bet. I absolutely love the Steelers this week against the Panthers, especially now that it's out to +3. And, Mike Tomlin playing a little bit drama with the quarterback. Kenny Pickett ruled out, and Mitch Trubisky was absolute terrible against the Ravens. Let's be honest, those 3 interceptions were the difference in the game. But I think the Raiders play enough defense to keep. I think the Steelers play enough defense to keep it close, and it is more of a hunch. Like, Panthers ran it really well against the Seahawks. Steelers didn't stop the run well against the Ravens. You would say, okay, Panthers are going to come in and roll over him and pound him into oblivion. I don't see it playing out like that. I don't see it playing out like that. I think it's going to be a close game. And listen, I think the Sam Darnold thing is going to start to bite the Panthers a little bit. Here we go. Yeah, Steelers. I think the Steelers, I think the Steelers are going to start Mason Rudolph. And I'm no Mitch Trubisky guy. I've been anti-Mitch Trubisky since he first came into this league. Man, this is from RG. RG's on Patreon. Lawson, will you talk about the Browns-Ravens game? Who do you think wins and why? Do you think the Browns can cover that -2.5? But then you have Cooper hurt. The Ravens have all 3 running backs healthy finally. I'm lost. Yeah, it's down to -2.5. I think the Browns win the game, man. And I like Tyler Huntley more than most people. You guys know that from hearing me talk last week. And we have to remember he's 1 hit from being out of the game. We know how the NFL is with the concussions, with the eye in the sky after what happened to Tua. So, that's a reality. He gets dinged the wrong way, takes a slap to the head, how he could be out of the game. I mean, we saw Teddy Bridgewater hitting the elbow and they rang down for a concussion. Craziest shit I've ever seen, even though he passed the concussion test. Okay, I say this to say that. I do think Deshaun Watson plays a little bit better. And I do think this is a low pressure game for him. And I know it's a divisional matchup. I know the Ravens are not a fucking joke in this league, but I do think the Ravens team makes too many mistakes to keep teams in games. And I've been encouraged with what I've seen out of the Browns defense the last 3 weeks. My main issue and why I wrote against the Browns so much earlier this year was their defense, especially their secondary not covering anyone. Well, Tyler Huntley doesn't have anyone to throw to, and Tyler Huntley's not the type of guy who's going to sling it 35 times and hit you in all the bad areas of your secondary. He just isn't the guy to do that. I think the Browns get better offensive line play this game. I think the Browns bully him a little bit. We've seen the Ravens front seven be a little bit susceptible to power runs this year. I think the Browns give them a heavy dose. I think the Browns use play action better this game, and I think the Browns win the game. I really like the Browns, man. Really like the Browns. One thing that worries me about the Browns, though, is the coaching. I know everyone loves Kevin Stefanski. He went to Yale and he looks the part, I guess. He looks smart. He's not like a meathead like Robert Sala or Dan Campbell, and, you know, like how they always give negative press to meatheads. But it doesn't mean he's a good football coach, and he makes a lot of mistakes in game management and play calling and third and short situations. Really dumb stuff, man. Really dumb stuff that he was doing the whole year on third and shorts. Just to give you an example, but Browns win the game. Browns win it, man. Yeah, Browns cover it too. I'm pretty confident about it. Okay, here we go. It's just to make an announcement. Tyrese won the $500. Victor Verdon won the $200. And Yi Feng finished the third place tiebreaker. He will win $100. Send me a message on Patreon. I'll get you the money. I prefer to use Patreon. If I have to use another payment outlet, I will, but I'm outside the United States, so I am limited, but I will have someone send the money for me. Here we go. Gabriel Hammer. Let's get it, Lawson. What's up, Gabe? This season has been a head scratcher, but you dropping these videos helps us get our minds right before we make our bets. Check out My Boy Sports Podcast. You ever get bored, I will. You think the Texans use Driscoll this weekend? He's got tight end eligibility and fantasy football. Their offense is banged up bad. Bro, they will use Driscoll. They said they should start Driscoll. He looked better than Davis Mills last week, and he almost led a comeback against the Cowboys. Yeah, I think it's worth the gamble. I don't know who your other tight ends are, but I think it's worth the gamble. And I appreciate the praise, Gab. I appreciate it, man. I love making the videos. I love talking to you guys. It's always great, man. Ron Stein, still on the Browns with Huntley back? Yes, Ron, still on the Browns. I like the Browns this week, and I do think the limitations of Huntley's show this weekend. My main issue with the Browns the whole year was their secondary, and I don't think Huntley's the guy to expose it. Lino Frosto, Playboy. I can't get the Dolphins-Ravens game out of my head. I hope you put either on Patreon. And as being from South Chicago, I hope the Packers do get demoralized, a la butt rammed. Yeah, man, I do hope it. And Lino, how about them Bears, man? How about them Bears? Who would have thought the Bears would cover so many games for us this year? I wouldn't have bet that going in. Canyon Wiz, 13-point teaser. What 4 teams would you throw in? Well, let me bring it up. Well, firstly, I would bring the Rams out to +20. Secondly, I would bring the Giants out to +18. Thirdly, I would bring the Patriots out to +14. Fourthly, I would bring the Falcons out to +17. Is there another one? Yes, I would bring the Steelers out to +16. If you don't like one, use one of the other games. But yeah, 13-point teasers are wild, man. That was off the top of my head. I mean, and you have to look out for blowout protection in those. Gab says, I got Kelsey at tight end, thinking of Driscoll at flex over that damn Mike Evans. Let's eat this weekend, Lawson. Let's get it, dude. Mike Evans, man. And did you see last week, Gabe? He finally gets a deep touchdown pass. I believe it was Mike Evans. I had other games on at the time. Finally gets a deep touchdown pass. I think it was like a 40-yarder from Brady. And then Donovan Smith holds for like the 10th time of the game. I mean, Buccaneers are bad, man. And, and I get it. I appreciate you guys trying to scare me out of the Bengals pick this week. Bengals injury report does not look good. I completely get it. I completely recognize it. But this Bucs team is terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. Jared Hart, what's your thoughts, John, on Saints getting fined almost $1 million for faking injuries? I like it, man. It's something that's been used way too much in the NFL, but they also should look more closely at injury report manipulation. Bill Belichick has really pissed me off throughout the years doing it, and he's done dirty things. Listen, it's okay to play your cards close to the vest, so to speak, but manipulating and clear, flat out lying on injury reports should be forbidden. Should absolutely be forbidden. And then like the faking injuries to stop teams from getting momentum in the game, it's cheese. But I don't think you can stop it. I don't think you can stop it though. Yeah. Yeah, dude, Tim Huntley's good, man. Huntley's good. He's no joke. And he played good in that first half before he got hurt against the Steelers. Like, Huntley is no joke. It's just, we've had this problem with the Ravens the whole year, Tim. I don't like the receiving core. And I know Lamar was absolutely spotless the first 6-7 weeks, and he was making people believe Duvernay and Bateman were ready to take a step up in their level of play. It's just never came to fruition, man. It just never came into fruition. It's been disappointing. And then you got Mark Andrews, kind of been banged up the whole year. They're not really using Mark Andrews right. And when I look at the Browns, I think you have to attack their secondary, and I don't know if Huntley has the weapons or the chance to do it. Yeah. Michael Houchins, hello from Montana. Hello, Mike. Hope you're having a good day, man. Montana is an absolutely beautiful state. A little bit cold, but very, very beautiful. I guess it keeps the people away. Although I know you're getting like tons of people moving in there and raising your housing prices. Stevie Ray, part of the ref so fragile, finding Jerry Jeudy $30K for bumping the ref. They need to grow some cojones. Sometimes they deserve to get bumped with some of their bad calls. Bro, I agree. Some of the calls we've seen this year has been absolutely just terrible, man. Absolutely terrible. I'm gonna use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some people on live. Let's get this money. Thank you. First hour finished. Let's get this money. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Yeah, bro, I'm gonna send you an email right now. No, tô bom. Okay, here we go. Friday night, control. Dude, fucking chair completely getting destroyed, man. Completely getting destroyed. God damn. Chair problems, man. Oh, come on. Okay. Anybody cayenne, huh? Okay, here we go. Super chat. Is this Zamora? I haven't seen Zamora in a while, man. Haven't seen Zamora. I'll use it to get a fucking new chair, man. Who do you think makes the 7th seed? Charger or who are the choices? Or New England? I think the Chargers. I think the Chargers get in. I do think the Chargers get in Zamora. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the playoff picture. I was thinking maybe another team could make a run in. It wasn't the Patriots. Let me bring up the playoff picture. And I'm going to get some people on. Here we go. I'm going to just get Dion Connolly on real quick. Then I'll get Lauren on if she's here. Let's see. Let's get. Okay, here we go. And let's bring up the playoff picture, man. Okay, here we go. Okay, NFL playoff picture. Okay, we got Jags 5-8, but they're gunning for the Titans spot. Raiders are 5-8. They're fucking eliminated. Browns are fucking eliminated. Patriots are actually in the playoffs right now. Who would have thought? Yeah, I think the Chargers get that spot. Also, I wouldn't rule out the Jets, man. I wouldn't rule out the Jets getting in there. Now they're probably going to lose this week with Zach Wilson. I truly believe that. I want to see people laughing about the chair. Do people see the chair? Frank, in Brazil, it's 7:45. Yes, it's 7:45 here. 2-hour difference. We don't do daylight savings time. And if you think where I'm at is actually really, really close to Africa. Like, I'm really fucking close to Africa. Like, not like Cuba and like Miami close, but it's up there, man. It's up there. Dion, what's up, dude? I like the fucking setup, man. How do I?
Thanks, bro.
Setup, you know?
Right on. Maybe I need to turn the TV off in the back, or nah, it's like half of it. It should be cool.
Is that Kanye West?
Could have been. I wasn't looking.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, we don't want to talk about that on here. We'll get fucking buzzsawed. Yeah, dude, I like the mic. What kind of mic is that?
That's a HyperX, like LED mic.
What is it? Is it a diaphragm? Like what type? Is it like you know how
It's
they have
a
two different?
yeah, it's a condenser microphone.
It sounds really good, man.
Well, I'm actually talking through these headphones right now. The Sennheiser Momentum 4s. My girlfriend got me these for Christmas. These things go hard as fuck, bro. I love them.
Dude, and I remember you showed your setup one weekend to watch these games. It's one of the best setups I think I've ever seen.
Right on. I actually just renovated everything. I like sold most of my old stuff, or I'm selling my old stuff right now, and I just built all this stuff because it was on sale at Micro Center, which is like a really nice computer store we have in the States. So I got a pretty fire deal on everything, I'm not gonna lie.
So are you? Yeah. So let's talk about the Colts.
Yeah.
Send me a picture later today on WhatsApp when you get a chance, because I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
curious. Yeah, man. Let's just talk about that Colts game. Because Saturday, I know people are going to bet it because it's on Saturday. There's no other games on.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm
sure.
sure people are going to bet it. What are you looking at? Vikings are -3.5 now. Open at like +4.5.
Right. Um, so after listening to you talk about everything that was going on with the matchups, I was thinking about TJ Hawkinson. He hasn't scored in a minute. And if we're gonna have Stephon Gilmore trying to, because honestly, the Colts are probably gonna try to run man with Stephon Gilmore on top of Justin Jefferson's for most of the game, just because he does a pretty good job at locking people up. Do I think he's gonna lock up Justin Jefferson's? No, I think he's gonna show him what the fuck's going on for real, because that dude's a dog, bro. He's not messing around. But Kirk Cousins, I don't know how because he's gonna be like in a primetime game essentially playing Saturday night, or sorry, Saturday at 1 p.m. He's gonna be like the only game on, so everyone's gonna be watching him play. So let's see if he shows up and actually plays
We'll
ball.
see. We'll see. And like, here's the thing I'm looking at, because I don't think Kirk's going to play that good. So I'm with you there.
Right,
My problem is, man, how's Matt Ryan going to be able to throw the ball? Now the Vikings have like one of the worst secondaries in this league, and they should sit back and soft zone the whole game. Like, you thought Eberflus's zone was soft. Like, this is different, man.
right.
So we'll see if Matt Ryan's able to get it going. I don't like what I've seen from him, man. It's ugly, man.
Yeah, he definitely gets those stat pads at the end of the game when he turns the ball over 3 times in a row and gives up a score instantly, and then gets the ball right back, and then gets to throw for 50 more yards. You're just like, oh my god, this guy's not even good. He just turned the ball over like 3 times in 2 minutes. Like
Yeah, that's
it's
why I said it's like not even. It's not the no-brainer people think, because you kind of have to like not look at that final score against the Cowboys, because that game was
right.
actually a close game until that debacle, whatever that was.
Matt Ryan popping off.
Yeah, man. What's your favorite bet of the week?
I honestly have been putting a different parlays together and stuff like that because that's kind of how I play.
Well, I saw you hit
Um,
the FanDuel one a few weeks back. That
yeah,
must have felt good, man.
yeah, no, that was definitely the load, as we like to say around here. Um, but I try to use that responsibly. I took out most of it. I'd say like 99% of it. But yeah, I would say the play for this week, if we're looking for like 100 odds, what I like right now is Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown score with the game being under 59 and a half. I don't think it'll be a super high scoring game, but it's a safe 100 odds bet. I think Jonathan Taylor definitely gets in the end zone. But you were asking about the receivers on the Colts end, and I mean, all of our guys are really healthy right now. So you're gonna have Paris Campbell out there. You're gonna have Alec Pierce. You're gonna have Michael Pittman. I mean, those guys really they're not number ones, but they're good receivers out there.
I
You
would
know what I
have
mean?
Alec. I would be curious to see
And then
Alec Pierce's over under catches.
I
That's
can
what I
tell
would
you right
do.
now, if
I
it's,
think
I
he's going to
mean,
get 5 or 6
the
at
game's
least.
tomorrow, so I mean, if we're lucky, it might be up right now. I can look.
It should, man. But they've been stingy with it because they
Yeah, so
know player
he's at
props are where
40.
they're. Say that again.
He's at 40.5.
Okay, for yards. And what
Yeah.
about catch totals?
I don't know if they have receptions on FanDuel. That's what I'm looking at right now. Let me
Yeah,
see if they
because
have.
if I were to set the line, I would set it over under 4.5 for him. I think it will go over, but it's just because the
Yeah,
Vikings
so
don't have balls, man.
receiving yards is actually 38 and a half, but Player total reception, they have it at 2.5, over
Oh,
2.5, but it's minus 166. So
that's what they're doing, man. That's what they're
yeah,
doing. FanDuel, correct?
yeah.
So let me ask you a question about FanDuel. I was
Hmm.
curious about this because I never used it. I used their lines because they're one of the biggest now. But so let's say you wanted to put $1,000 on a game, they won't let you, right?
No, you can.
I thought they block your bets if you go all in or go big on a game. I thought they did like kind of like a kind of like a median bet. Let's say your median bet is $150. Then if you
Right.
went like 900 on a game, they would just shoot that shit down. Am I wrong?
I think that could have been on the old updates because it like tries to enforce responsible gambling restrictions and stuff like that, whether you have it set or not. So like if you're trying to bet $900 whenever you know you're minus 2,000, it's probably not going to let you do that because it knows that your W-2 probably doesn't want to see that. So it's not going to allow you to place that kind of stuff unless it's like a median amount where you kind of got the system to like accept you, but at a certain point it's gonna be like, dude, I don't think you're like that. You might want to stop. It's like telling you to stop without telling you to stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it. And I want to ask you a question, like because I know you follow the Titans a little bit.
Mm.
What do you think of the Titans this week? Do you think they're done, or do you think the Chargers are going to just kick their ass like everyone's?
Uh, I see Austin Eckler scoring 2 touchdowns and tearing these guys up on defense. I don't know what's going on defense or offense, to be quite honest with you. I don't really know how they beat the Colts like they did. Well, it's because we turned the ball over a lot. But I mean, as long as the Titans play good football, and I mean not like they get a run game going and they don't turn the ball over, um, they will probably cover that. Was that +3? But if Ryan Tannehill, is on cue, they will probably lose by 10. To be honest with you. Because like Ryan Tannehill, I don't know how he still has a starting job in the NFL. I mean, I'm not saying that he's like a bad quarterback, but he's a backup and he's been a backup. But he just fell into the right shoes, to be honest with you. Like,
No,
right,
that Titans team last year was absolutely stacked, man,
yeah,
and it's a great situation, one of the best situations.
yeah. He threw. I know that we're on the same page here. Really, I'm pretty sure he threw 3 interceptions in that division game, or yeah, because they
Bad
got the bye.
interception,
They got
really
the
bad
bye.
interception.
Yeah, it's just like, why are you even throwing that? It was like Carson Wentz type stuff going on. Like it was. It's very interesting to see how the season's going to come to an end because I think the Jags could go on a hot streak and the Titans could get super cold because, I mean, a lot of their players have been getting hurt. They don't have the player depth. They're kind of looking like the Colts in the sense of the player depth. Like, what's the GM doing? How did it end up like this when they were so stacked last year? So I feel like they're just trying to figure out what's going on. Like they're trying to figure out how to get everything back together, and they're kind of panicking. And it might work out for them, but they're probably going to get bounced in the first round like they usually do. So
Yeah, and I'm rooting for the Jags. I mean, we'll see if they can beat the Cowboys because they kind of need to beat the Cowboys to get in a
yeah.
position. We'll see if they can do it, bro.
And I remember back in like August, we were literally talking like DMs and shit, and I was like, bro, Jags are like +430 to take the division. Like this is kind of crazy. It could probably happen. And you were like, I mean, Titans could self-destruct, Colts could self-destruct. Like
Listen,
he
I
could
thought
find
the Titans
himself.
were taking this season off, like because I thought they realized what you said just now that like Tannehill, like, listen, we've came to the end of the line. Let's just draft Malik Willis. If we're like if we're like 3-5 at week 8, we put Malik Willis in, and then we go to bat next year in free agency, and we let someone else take this division. But it
Right.
didn't turn out that way because Mike Vrabel's too damn good a coach.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like any stuff that I really like for the weekend, I'm really liking anytime scores. That's really what I've done a good job on this year. And I think it's going to be a big running back day, like I said. I really think Austin Eckler is going to do the Titans up. I mean, if not twice, definitely once. I really see him getting in there. And that's at -125, so that's not bad. And who else we got? Antonio Gibson in that Giants.
Oh, I like that Antonio
Yeah,
Gibson.
yeah.
I like that.
And that's +175, so that's that's a little bit of money on top of that. But I could see him, they're going to be trading blows, trying to control the clock and just running the ball out, trying to take control of the game. But just neither one of these teams really have an offense built to put up 40 like the Eagles have been doing, or 30 for that matter. But their defenses are pretty nitty gritty. I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot out of the Giants, excuse me, but
Yeah,
yeah,
man. Yeah, and like I agree with you, man. And I think the Giants cover that game, but there isn't a lot of science because what you said, it's kind of because of what you said, it's going to be slow paced. I
yeah.
like your Jefferson anytime touchdown you talked about earlier. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense to me. And he's not going to go 2 games without a touchdown. So
No, and just like we were talking about earlier, when he got that touchdown taken away from him last week, like I think he's going to try that much harder. Um, and like if we're talking about numbers, dude, I mean Justin Jefferson is literally like shattering numbers for how short of a time he's been in the league and how much damage he's doing in the air, and he don't even have an elite quarterback, bro. Like it's insane.
and we're Kirk. It's
Like,
insane.
but I mean, they definitely have a connection going on, so that's got to count for something. But yeah, Justin Jefferson's I'm pretty sure is positive money as well tomorrow. I already placed that one, so it's not on my slip right now. Let me look at my slip for Sunday. Oh, I never got to talk about Jelani Woods on the Colts either. That tight end, he's coming in.
He's
He was
6'8", right?
say what?
He's 6'8", correct?
Yeah, I mean they have two giant ass tight ends. One of them, we got Mo Alley Cox, but Jelani Woods has just been a red zone favorite for Matt Ryan this season, dude. I mean, he had 2 touchdowns one game, and he's been getting
Against the
darted up.
Chiefs, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
He's probably like
Um,
plus 300.
yeah, he's like 280. He's a big dude, but
Yeah, man. Like it's fucking nuts, man.
um,
And like so last thing before you
yeah.
go. Last thing, Colts cover or Vikings cover? Your life's on the line.
Uh, Vikings. I'll take the Vikings for sure. The Colts when it Matt Ryan will be on cue to give you guys your money. Don't worry, it'll happen late in the fourth quarter. You're gonna be sweating like a motherfucker, but he's gonna fumble it. Vikings are gonna take the ball. They might even score a touchdown with it. Vikings defense anytime touchdown. That's probably good odds.
Yeah. Yo, Dion, I'll talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, I mean, imagine holding that Colts ticket last week, going into the fourth quarter. You're like, all right, man, we're doing good. Like, what was it? Like they're down like 6 or 5. We're doing good, man. Yeah, come on, let's swap this out. If the Cowboys get it, they're gonna just kick a field goal. They don't need a touchdown, and then all that stuff happened. It's just insane, man. All right, I'm gonna get Lauren on. Yeah, man. So it's always good to talk to Dion, man. Definitely a gearhead. I didn't know he was a computer gearhead as well. I know he's like into cars and shit. Yeah, someone was asking about, I think Kyle was asking about the Vikings playoff situation. The Vikings are fighting for seeding, and they really only need to win one game to clinch the division, from my understanding. They could actually clinch the division without winning a single game the rest of the year. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Yeah, let's go, man. And what I'm looking forward to this weekend is I want to see if the Bengals choke because public's going to be on the game, and that hasn't been good this year. Public's riding your game. It's not a good situation to be in. I'm still going Bengals on that, and It was the same thing last night with the 49ers. I do think the bets were more equal. We have a guy who looks all that stuff up. But I do think probably 60% of the bets were on the 49ers at least. 49ers covered, so that's where we're at. Well, Stevie, yeah, and he did pass a concussion protocol, and I think this is them just trying to use an excuse to bench Russell Wilson. That's what I think is more of an excuse. I think if they were good, he would play. He would play easy, man, if they were any good. Okay, here we go. Okay, we're going to get Lauren on. How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Week 15, Saturday games. You ready
Saturday. We have Saturday football tomorrow.
Yeah, there's not that many fun games to bet. But I'm sure we'll find something to bet. Yeah, so we should just start with a game on Sunday, though, because Bengals -3.5 at the Bucs. And I'll just lay it out, and I'll let you talk. Like, listen, man, I know the Bengals injury report wasn't good today. And I know how this year has been. Someone didn't understand what I was talking about with the public. That's when a lot of people ride a game. Like 80% of the bettors were on like Chiefs, for instance, against the Bengals, just to give an example. I'm sure it's like that, even though the Bucs have a loyal group of bettors who will just bet them regardless of situation. But yeah, man, I'm looking at this game. I just don't see how the Bengals lose it, but I've been surprised before.
No, and everybody was on Cleveland covering last week. You know, I kind of got roped into that too. And I had my reservations, but I was like, okay, divisional game. You know, I'm usually one that takes the divisional points. Like, they had nothing for Cincinnati. Cincinnati gets better and better and better as the season goes on. They did it last year. I know the injury report doesn't look good. But Jamar Chase is back. They're utilizing Samaje Perine, even though Mixon's back, so they're using both of them. Boyd's probably going to play. I'm not too concerned about Hayden Hurst. Hendrickson, I'm kind of concerned about, you know, but I just don't see where, you know, this team that's been lighting it up the whole second half of the season, and they're playing for the division. You know, they have got to pass Baltimore to get in there. So, I mean, 3.5, I'm riding Cincy. And people are gonna say like, "Oh, you always ride Cincy." Like, well, I mean, I ride them at the right times, you know.
Well, and the Browns game last week, if you watch the first half of that game, I had to check out after the first half due to just pure frustration. Like Browns, that was a time for them to cover. I mean, did you see how they gave? There was 2 drives for the Bengals in the first half where they kept the Bengals on the field, third down, and just gave them first downs with penalties. I don't know, and I think the Bengals are going to look better this week because I felt like they didn't play good against the Browns at all.
Well, and that's the thing. The more that the Bengals are on the field, the worse it is for everybody else. You know, so, you know, you keep giving Joe Burrow time to throw it down the field, and you keep giving him opportunities. He's going to run up the score. Like, Brock Purdy just beat the shit out of Tom Brady's defense. You know what I mean? So why do we not think that Joe Burrow can?
Yeah, I agree completely. And the only injury I was concerned about was kind of similar to you, Hendrickson. But when you look at the Bucs, have they blocked anyone the whole year? I mean, they're getting some of the worst offensive line play in the world. This is a really bad offensive line, and they got a quarterback who throws it really quick too. That's what makes it even worse.
Yeah, and Mike's like, when do you not pick the Bengals? Like, there's times this year I didn't pick the Bengals. You know what I mean? But, Mike says he's ready. Send him an invite. Yeah, I mean, I picked them to win last week, but I thought maybe Cleveland would cover, because I got roped into that whole divisional, 5 points, whatever the hell, 6 points, whatever the hell it was. And I knew better. I knew that Cincy was going to run all over them. They are so much better the second half of the season. You guys got to remember, like we said this earlier in the year, like Cincinnati they are young. They drafted a lot of players. They are a new team. Even if they're in their second year, they're still new. And a lot of them are in their first year. So that team has just literally become, they're my pick for the Super Bowl. And I love Josh Allen. So I'm from upstate New York, I mean, so I don't see who's going to beat that team this year. I don't see anybody doing it.
Well, the problem with the Bills is we were talking about this way earlier in the year before it was popular. I don't know if the Bills have as many weapons as people think. Like, I don't think Gabe Davis is good. I don't think Isaiah McKenzie is good. I don't think Dawson Knox is a top 10 tight end. I don't think their running game is going the way they thought it would be. And then, like, I get to make the point, like, they bring in Cole Beasley, and I'm like, listen, they needed to roll the dice. I just thought it would be a bigger dice than an old Cole Beasley. Listen, it's hard for me to imagine the Bills making it out of the AFC at this point.
Here's the thing. The one thing about the Bills is that they're starting to use a little bit new running game. They're not just throwing it out there with Singletary. They got their new guy, Cook, who kind of was a little flashy in the preseason, and then made some big mistakes in the beginning of the regular season, and so they pretty much pulled the chain on him. Well, after they had their bye, and they kind of got, when teams have their bye, they kind of get shit together a little. They use that time to, figure out how to get shit together. That's the one thing about the Bills tomorrow. The Bills play tomorrow, right? Yeah, they're a Saturday game.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm pretty high on is the Bills' run game tomorrow. Whether it's with Josh Allen or James Cook or Devin Singletary in those type of weather conditions, I think you're going to see a lot of that tomorrow.
I've been worried about. I feel like Miami's only weakness on their team, which there's been a lot of weaknesses these last 2 weeks, is their run defense. That's one thing I haven't liked about Miami the whole year. Yeah, man.
Yeah, has Tua ever played in this type of shit? I mean, the Bills are built for this type of weather. They're going to get like 6 to 8 inches of snow or something, or 4 to 6 or 6 to 8. This game time during the game, I think it's going to be snowing. So of course, 7.5 is a lot for a divisional game, especially for a team that just beat you earlier in the year. But Miami's kind of on the opposite way. They're kind of on a downhill slide, where Cincinnati's on an uphill slide. And now, Buffalo's had a few losses, but I don't see them losing tomorrow.
Yeah, and I want to just respond to the chat. Listen, I like the Cole Beasley signing. I'm all for it, but I think it kind of proves what I said. Like, I don't know if you guys have been watching, and like one guy's blaming the offensive coordinator, I guess. But for me, like Isaiah McKenzie and Gabe Davis, they don't catch tough balls. And that team is more Josh Allen than people realize. And you can, of course, double Diggs, you can. But the thing I worry about, I'm not as worried about the snow, but I got to tell you one thing that worried me about the Dolphins. And this is from you like hot weather, I like hot weather. But when I saw they had the heaters on the sideline when it was 58
in LA, it's SoFi.
Like, I'm concerned. Yeah. I know you lived in for a long time now, but like, come on, does 60 degrees really bite you?
I mean, I've been in Florida for I think 12 years now, and your blood thins. So every time I go home and I'm sitting there, and like the last time I went home, my mom says, pack a light spring jacket. because I was asking her, what's it like over there, October? You never know, right? She said, pack a light spring jacket. Light spring jacket, it was 44. I was like, a light spring jacket, my ass. Like, I was like, Mom, I need hoodies. I need a scarf. So, and that's for someone who spent 30 years. 30 years. So if you guys really want, I'm 41. Okay. So I spent 30 years in upstate New York. And yeah, it's cold. It's brutal. And it's a brutal cold. You know what I mean? It's a very intense, and then you got to be running around a field and sliding around. And I just don't see Miami making.
I'll tell you why I'm not betting Miami this game, even though I wanted to. First of all, because we lost the hook and it got down to 7, which is predictable. But the second reason, it's not because of the snow, even though I was really concerned about the heaters for 60 degrees. I'm concerned about the wind. And I like the wind that's going to be the killer in that game.
It's the temperature alone for me. Have you seen Tua's experience in like cold weather games? It's not extensive at all. And Buffalo's a different animal, man.
Well, I'm worried about his arm in the wind, man.
Yeah,
that's what I'm worried about. I wanted to bet it so bad, but
I actually, the 7.5 was very attractive, but then I felt,
because Bills aren't covering spreads. I mean,
very trappy.
I'm pretty sure they got a losing record against spreads.
Yeah, and you want to talk about, Tua. It's not just Tua. It's not just him. You know what I mean? Like, Miami's just not playing well right now. They're just not. They're not playing well. They got beat by the Chargers, and they got beat the week before by somebody. Didn't they lose 2 in a row? Aren't they 2 in a row lost right now?
Yeah, no, and they didn't show up either in the games. That score was really deceiving against the Chargers.
They lost against San Fran with a really good defense. So
they got murdered by San Fran.
Yeah, and that was concerning.
We talked about that.
They start the game with like an 80-yard touchdown pass, and then they kind of just
did nothing.
Which is why I'm so high on the Chargers this week. Chargers is my money pick.
Yeah, I agree, but tell us why.
So here's the thing. King Henry, Derrick Henry. Chargers are so bad against the run. Yeah, that's fine. They are. They can stack the box like crazy because who's Tannehill throwing to? I'm not going to bank on Robert Woods making a downfield play, to score a touchdown. And there's no Treylon Burke. That, to me, is the difference maker. You can only run so much, but you've got to catch up. You got to play catch up with Herbert, who's got all of his weapons now. Eckler's going to be a beast. He is every year. He's got Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, the Palmer kid, the tight end that he loves. He's got so much. You have to not be able to just run. You've got to be able to throw it to somebody, anybody. And there's just nobody in Tennessee. He's got the second string tight end, him and Hooper last week, who he was throwing to. That's only going to go so far against someone like Justin Herbert, who can launch it 60 yards against, take your pick, throw a dart.
In fairness to the Titans, their entire wide receiver core is on the injury report.
That's what I'm saying. So
I'm with you. I'm just saying, let's not kill the Titans here.
Do you want to put your money on Robert Woods?
Oh, no, of course not. I'm not touching the game.
I love the Chargers this week. Love them.
I'll tell you one thing I'm nervous about with the Titans, because I think the Treylon Burks thing is extremely relevant, because one reason why the Titans were winning these close games in the fourth quarter, they would hit a deep play action pass for 50, 60 yards every single game. Wouldn't do much besides this in the second half. I'm worried about the run game the last 3 weeks. I am. And Patrick, thank you for this. Thank you for the donation, my man. I really appreciate it. $20. I'm really worried about the run game. They just haven't ran it the last 3 weeks, and that's concerning, man.
It is, because that's their main everything. That whole offense runs through Derrick Henry. So, how if they're not even going to be if they're not running as well as they normally do, which even if they do, even if Henry is tip-top shape, you can't just run and expect to beat Justin Herbert. You just can't.
They would need the Chargers not to show up early on, which they've done a couple times this year. They've done that, like the Arizona game, for instance. They had no business being as down in that game as they were for as long as they were.
And I just don't even think the Tennessee defense is going to have an answer for Justin Herbert. I just don't. They didn't have an answer for Trevor Lawrence. So
yeah,
where are you going this?
That
week?
Was ugly. I don't know what the Titans defense was doing that day. You can't make the Jaguars look that good.
They had a lot of turnovers, but it's no excuse. And it does seem like the teams collapsed.
4 turnovers.
Yeah.
Four turnovers.
I saw Derrick Henry fumble like 2 times in the game. I saw that. So.
And that's just the thing. So the first half of the game, it was Derrick Henry running all over Jacksonville. Okay, well then what did Jacksonville do? They stacked the box. They caused him to fumble. They were all over his ass. So the Chargers will do the same thing. And they'll make downfield plays, and they'll win easy.
Mm-hmm. Dude, you want to talk about a team that's going to get killed in the playoffs if they come up against the wrong team? Tennessee will be they'll be out quick.
I'm not even sure they're going to make the playoffs.
I think they have a big enough lead to where they can say they'll make the playoffs. Jacksonville's
so bad.
I do too. I'm going back home this weekend to Jacksonville. I would love nothing more than for them to make the playoffs, but I don't think it's going to happen. They're too far back.
Yeah, and I wish they did more work early in the season, and they let us down this whole year.
No, for sure. They definitely choked a few away.
And unfortunately, I think they're going to get crushed by Dallas this week, which is going to pretty much stick the fork in them. But
I'll give a little pushback on that. Listen, you're probably right. Dallas will win the game, but Jacksonville's spent money with that +4 all year. Like a lot of people were down. That one of the games I hit last week, one of the few I hit last week in that crazy week, was Jags +4. That's been money all year. Whether you bet them on the road, you bet them at home. They've been a good second half team too, which is definitely nice.
There's that buy low, sell high. We were all on Jacksonville last week. I had Jacksonville, you had Jacksonville. Nobody would have thought it came down to a shootout between Houston and Dallas. Nobody thought that was going to happen, a shootout.
I just think if Dallas brings their A game or even like their B+ game, I think the Jaguars could be in serious trouble this week.
Yeah, I do too.
But luckily, it's the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think this is for you, Lauren. LKN. Thank you, John, for the super chat.
Thank you, John.
Is that your YouTube name? Or is your YouTube name Lauren?
No, it's just Lauren. Okay, my friends call me LKN.
That's a cool nickname. Yeah, like the Cowboys, Mike's right, I do worry about the Cowboys' consistency. And one thing I do worry about the Cowboys, and maybe this is me getting snake bitten by Aaron Rodgers in that dreadful game by the Cowboys, their defense, they just play man-to-man the whole game. Like, I think that works. I think Peterson can cook some stuff up on offense. But like Mike said, if Dallas brings their B+ game, it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, I don't even know if they need B+. You know what I mean? They need B. Well, here's the thing. Jacksonville, obviously, they're playing for pride because it's been a long time since they've even had people in their seats. You can get I friends of mine bought tickets to go to the Jacksonville game. I don't know. It was Jacksonville Raiders. The tickets were $13. I mean, I've never an NFL game at $13. I think I paid $10 to get into a high school game.
No, and that's for the Raiders too. And the Raiders always get good attendance. Like, can you imagine for the other games?
I've been to a lot of Jags games. Like being having gone to college right near there. I've been to a lot of Jags games, and it is cheap typically not very crowded. Beer lines are not long at all. And the other opposing fan bases just tend to like, swarm in there. Like I don't feel like you
can put your feet up in the seat in front of you. You can put your feet up. There's no one sitting in front of you.
You don't have to like stand up when you want to see the next play because someone's blocking you. Like you can just sit there and enjoy the game.
But they got Trevor Lawrence now. They've got some, their run game was trash last week. But
yeah, what's up with ETN? He hasn't done squat.
He hurt his foot 3 weeks ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I was surprised.
I'm sitting him. I'm sitting him in my fantasy playoffs.
You might have to.
I am sitting him.
Especially against Dallas, who is like a really good run defense.
Yeah, I have the option of a flex because I've got to play Eckler and I've got to play Zeke. So in my flex, I think I'm pretty confident that I'm going to have to, I have DeAndre Hopkins and Tyreek Hill in my wide receiver. And when it comes to my flex, I'm probably going to put Chris Olave in there.
I would caution you guys because a lot of teams, they run a ton against the Cowboys. So you kind of have to.
I just think Olave is kind of more, going to get all the targets. A lot of
well, Falcons can't cover anyone.
Right, exactly.
That's going to be.
They can't cover anyone on defense.
No. That game goes into the category of who the heck knows.
That's my reasoning for putting Olave in the flex.
Yeah. So anyways, like I do think we can see some Jags magic, but like I said, I'm just putting it due to personal feelings. We've been vindicated on Trevor Lawrence. I'm really happy he finished the year strong because people are making fun of him. And like,
I know, I am too.
He was getting a lot of crap.
Did you see the video of him like trying to give like a pregame speech, and then like everyone was making fun of him because he had like no emotion or anything? People were burying him earlier in the year. So at least
he was getting a lot of crap in Jacksonville a couple months ago. Like he's reached the point now where he's like a pretty iconic name down there, and he has all the commercials, and he's got the Goldilocks hair that everyone seems to love for some reason. And when he had that stretch where he was just doing nothing, people were not happy about it.
Yeah, so let's pivot to another game. Vikings and Colts Saturday. We should talk about these Saturday games because people are going to bet them regardless. Okay, so Saturday, that means just bring it up.
I know that the Vikings is your team, man, but that defense is their mini miracles are gone. They have used all 9 lives and all mini miracles, unfortunately, too early. And I'm not saying the Colts are anything special, okay, because they're not. But their defense isn't bad. Their front seven's not bad. And I know there's Justin Jefferson and this, that, and the other, but I think, they might win, but I got the Colts to cover. And I might be by myself on this, but I think this could be a good time for Jonathan Taylor. I think that Matt Ryan, who holds the ball way too long, hopefully fixes that problem because the Minnesota secondary is almost anemic.
No, it's up there with Atlanta. No, you didn't say anything wrong.
So I think it's kind of a tit for tat. Maybe a 3-point, maybe a field goal game. Let's not forget Indianapolis did beat Kansas City earlier in the year. So with Matt Ryan, and I'm not saying, and Matt Ryan is absolutely nothing special. He's definitely at the point in his career where, it's obvious, but Minnesota, it just is not showing me anything as of lately that they can stop anybody. And Jonathan Taylor, if he can get going, let's not forget, too, the first half of that Philadelphia-Indianapolis game, Indy was leading part of the time. And then they just got blown the hell out the second half. So Indy can stay. They can hold their own. I'm not saying they're going to win. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But I think I got Minnie to cover.
See,
Or,
like,
I'm sorry. I have Indy to cover.
the thing for me, like, why I can't bet this, like, overall, and Lawson, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you're a Vikings fan, but the Vikings, like, seem to be the epitome of bend but don't break defense. They give up a crap ton of yards, but when they get to the red zone, like, they actually hold out. And the Colts have been a team that really actually does have problems down there. That Pittsburgh game in particular, I remember they really sucked in the red zone. So that could be a matchup to look at, and that might actually cost them the game, similar to the Jets.
I think it's a rough day for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
It could be.
But for me, the run game for Minnesota has been disappointing. But Minnesota's been in this situation like the last 5 weeks. Everyone thought the Jets would beat them. Everyone thought the Patriots would beat them.
Jets almost did beat them.
Well,
Vikings were up like 20-0 in the game too. You know.
Here's the deal, Lawson. Like the Vikings are like 10-3 or something like that, but they're not dominating anybody. Like when you think
they're not a good team, they're mediocre.
That's the thing. Like you keep looking until they start
real
dominating. Like Philly was kind of on that train for a little bit too, where people were thinking they were just going to lose every week and get upset. But the last couple weeks, they've just completely annihilated people, and now there's no one talking about the Bears possibly upsetting them, even though that was something I was looking at a few weeks ago as a possibility. But the Vikings,
Minnesota. The problem with Minnesota is that like you said, they're not dominating. It's almost like if they were on somebody else's schedule, they'd be like 7-7.
Oh, maybe not that. I think it's possible, but maybe not that low.
You know, they're not beating anybody by a large, or they're playing catch up. They're playing catch up quite a bit.
I'd be curious to see how they would be doing if they were in the AFC.
Oh, God!
I think that's an interesting.
They'd be on the outside looking in.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I think the Vikings are good enough to not be in that position.
Fighting for a wild card, maybe. I mean,
no, I don't.
We don't
let's give
need
some
to talk
credit
about the
here.
Vikings like they're the Giants, you know.
Yeah.
No, but I'm telling you right now, you put them up against teams like Cincinnati, Buffalo, even Miami, you know, even Baltimore earlier this year. Like
they beat a lot of those teams.
Yeah, they beat.
Okay, hold on a second.
The Miami game was a little bit of a pass, but they came in there, they won comfortably, you know, and that's not an easy place to play, regardless of Miami's quarterback.
Especially when you're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they put the fucking sun in your face.
Dude, yeah, literally, it sucks. Like, even if you're an away fan there and you're going to that game, you're getting sun blasted the entire time. It's terrible.
It's like the old Coliseum before they built SoFi. That
Dude,
whole place
sucks, man.
is just completely like is just.
I'll never go to another Miami game again. Like seriously,
I've
not a
been
good
to like
experience.
6 of them, and they're pretty.
Yeah,
they're.
I know. I think, you know, and I'll be honest with you. I know everyone's on Detroit now, and there's no Mike White. Detroit averages like 32 to 34 points at home. They average 18 on the road. So I think this is a stay the hell away game. Like, I don't want any. I know that it's Zach Wilson and it's not Mike White, but you know, we've seen Jared Goff when he goes northeast or out of the dome. I don't know that I can back it. I know Lawson's made it a money pick, so I might have to do it just out of respect to him because I trust him. Well, because I trust you. But have you seen Jared Goff on the road outside?
Yeah.
No, the Patriots game.
Jared Goff on the road is a different animal.
Yeah, just like back in the day, the Saints were animals at home. You could never beat that team at home in the dome. But you get them on the road, and it was like, okay, yeah, they're cooked. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. You know, Detroit, God bless them. I'm all for Jared Goff because they're, you know, the games that they lost early in the year, the 5 in a row or whatever the hell it was, I don't want to blame Jared Goff for that. I don't. And and they've got St. Brown and, you know, they've got Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, and they have all these. Jamison Williams is here now, and and he caught a touchdown, his first pass of the freaking game. They have so much energy and so many people to throw to. I'm just a little concerned that when you leave the dome and you go outside and it's New York and it's sleeting and whatever. I mean, remember he came from Southern California too, so I don't know. I can't back it. I might have to, like I said, out of respect to Lawson, because I trust his judgment. And if he says a money pick, I'm not gonna, on something like this where I'm like,
can I ask you a question?
Did you guys? Well, go. You can go ahead first.
Yeah, who do you think's going to run the ball better in that game?
That kid, that Zenovian White or whoever he is, they can. The Jets can run the ball.
See, I'd say Detroit, but I don't think it'll be a significant factor.
Yeah, and do we know? Isn't it going to be like sleeting?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Good last time I checked.
So there has to be like a lot of money.
No, I was just gonna say, like, did you guys see that Zach Wilson, I think, is starting now?
Yeah, that's what made it push it over the edge. I was thinking the same thing as Lauren, but
that's what turned.
Yeah, go on.
That's what turned all hope for a Jets upset off for me. I had hope with White in there, but now that Zach Wilson's back, it just seeing I think the team's it's gonna be the old Jets that couldn't do anything. I think they're not gonna be able to keep up, even though I think the Jets defense will slow Detroit down a little bit. I think at the end of the day, they're not gonna be able to keep up, and this is gonna be like a 24-13 win for Detroit.
Yeah, Lauren, I get it. Like, I was concerned about the Jets running game. Ever since they lost Elijah Vera Tucker and Breece Hall, I just haven't seen the run game have any sort of effect for their team.
Until this rookie got here.
Yeah, but did he even run against the Vikings vanilla defense that only puts like 6-7 people in the box? They weren't running it good against the Vikings, and that Patriots game lingers in the head. I mean, they're just not getting a good push on the offensive line.
Well, they got behind against the Vikings, so they had to throw, and last week he ran. I mean, he got me like 17 points on my fantasy, so he must have done something, and I mean, he must have done something. But I just think that, I mean, again, I personally think that this pick'em or whatever it's at, I'm pretty sure it's a pick'em. In my opinion, I would say to hell away from it. But because Lawson has got this as a money pick and he's strong on it, I'm gonna roll with it. But me personally, I wouldn't touch it. If I wouldn't give an opinion, I wouldn't give a side. I'm just giving you my concerns.
Yeah, and I think the person throwing out Zach Wilson is 5-2 as a Jet starter this year. I think that is kind of a disservice to, first of all, Breece Hall's first 6-7 games of the year. And then, like, one example I use for Zach Wilson is that Packers game. I think he threw for under 100 yards in that game, maybe a little bit more, but I think that's kind of like using like the Teddy Bridgewater is like 17-3 against the spread when he's at home type stuff. Like, I don't think that does anything for our understanding of the game.
For me, I'd like to know in how many of those wins did the opposing offense score more than 20 points? Because they were locking some people down when Zach Wilson was in there.
Yeah. That defense is legit. And like Lauren, I think she already said the main thing that has made me cautious all week about the game. Goff in cold weather, I do worry about it. He doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. Detroit gets a lot of plays down the field in the dome. That's kind of a big part of their offense. Play action, like hit them deep, that could be eliminated. But I do think the Detroit offensive line will open holes. They've been pretty good this year running it. And like we were talking about last week, I just think the play design is so much better with Detroit when you compare it with other teams. It's crazy. This dude should be a head coach, Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be it's Dan Campbell versus Robert Sala, two of the most, I guess I would
inspirational
say,
head coaches.
And almost borderline obnoxious I mean,
You don't like Dan Campbell?
Dude,
I didn't say it like him.
When Sala came out and said that he thought his offense played like shit after the Patriots game, that might have been my favorite quote of all time. And especially after what Zach Wilson saying that it wasn't the offense's fault that they lost. For Sala to come out and say that, I was like, I love that man. If he gets fired, I want him.
Robert Sala was literally earlier in the year saying, like, I'm taking receipts. They had lost like the first 3 games or something. He says, I'm keeping receipts, this, that, and the other. And then Dan Campbell's on the other side, watching him on Hard Knocks. I don't know if any of you guys saw him. My God, I can't believe he still even has a voice after that shit. Like, I mean, so you have these 2 coaches. So to me, it's just going to be entertaining. Yeah. I'm going to ride with Detroit because, like I said, I'm going to ride with Lawson. But I personally want to just watch the sidelines.
I need both of them mic'd up. Both of them need to be mic'd up in this game.
God,
I need locker room coverage.
So.
I need to see both their like pregame speeches, get everyone excited.
And the best part would be is if Lawson was doing like a Manning cast. Like, why? Why are you doing this?
You have Lawson. You need to stream a game at some point. We need to go to our game, but you have to stream games. Like if you streamed a Vikings game on Saturday, that would go off.
I'm thinking about it because I'm going to do something on Saturday.
If we could have Lawson doing like a Manning cast on that game, watching, why would you do that? What is wrong with you?
Hear him slam the table in the middle of the game or something like that.
Oh my God, why? And then he throws his arms up and he calls him Sam Darnold.
Yeah. We didn't talk about that, by the way.
Yeah, we'll get to that because a lot of people they're going to talk about the Steelers today. I just want to say though, like seeing what Detroit's done this year, I love Dan Campbell. He might be my favorite NFL.
I like him.
How can you not? Like, there's just like for me, there's like not enough genuine people, and of course, like Dan Campbell's a really easy target. Like because
maybe I said obnoxious. Maybe I should have said abrasive. Maybe I should have gone with abrasive.
But it's fine because you actually talk about what happens on the football field. Like when they were 1-6, like people were coming out saying he doesn't coach anything, and they weren't watching the games. Like I understand it's frustrating losing close games, but yeah. Let's get to the Steelers game because I could talk about the Lions forever, man.
Okay.
It's like I think it's the most interesting team in the league at this point.
But don't we have Mitch Trubinsky at quarterback right now? Does anybody
Lawson.
Really
we don't know.
No,
it's either him or Mason.
No, it is. It's Mitch. I'm pretty sure it's Mitch.
Pickett's we don't know which one it's official yet, but Lawson, dude. Lawson, I'm sorry, but you got this Pittsburgh Panthers game like dead wrong. Like I've never been
Hold
this
on, maybe
adamant.
I'm just gonna get my popcorn right now.
I've never been this adamant about a Panthers win coming like in years than I do this Sunday. Listen, and this is not just you. There are a lot of people in the media who say this crap all the time. Whenever people go to attack the Panthers offense over the last 2 years, the first thing they say is, "Ooh, Sam Darnold sucks, and he's going to cost them the game." And you're right. If Sam Darnold has to throw more than 35 times, he probably will. But that's not what's going to happen. The Panthers offense is literally built to make Sam Darnold do as minimal as possible and still win. They will run the ball at you 40 times a game if they can, over 4 straight quarters, and absolutely beat the living crap out of you. That's what they did against Seattle. That's how they beat Denver. That's how they killed Atlanta. And they're going to do that again against the Steelers. And they have a defense on their side that can actually allow them to do that and not let the score to get out of hand. The only way to get the Panthers out of that run, like first mantra, is to get up fast on them with an explosive offense and have a defense that can stop the run. Pittsburgh is neither of those two things. I don't think Trubisky's going to have a good game at all. I think this Panthers defense could absolutely eat him alive. He's probably going to have 2 or 3 turnovers. It's in Carolina. It's in Charlotte. So Panthers defense, for some reason, plays a lot better there. So I think that'll be a big factor. I think this is a money pick. I think there's serious blowout potential here for the Panthers. I've never said that, but
no, I like
your rebuttal. I was betrayed when you came out and picked the Steelers. I won't lie.
Steelers. Okay, first of all, when you look at this game, I think it's going to be a grungy type game like the Ravens game or Steelers against the Patriots. Or you don't think it's going to be a grungy game?
I believe it could, but isn't that a scenario that benefits Carolina?
I think it benefits the +3 in any sort of grungy game. Now, it might move down because the +3, everyone has it listed at +3, but it's at like -105. So it could move down to +2.5. But
I mean, I'm not.
Go on.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say this: if Pickett's playing, I'm on the Steelers.
Unfortunately, they rolled him out.
But
he's doubtful, I think, right now. Last I checked.
I don't know if I can get behind Mitch. And even if it is Mitch, I think that they might have a hard time running. Carolina might. So, Mike, I know I know that you don't like when I go against you, but it's a Minka Fitzpatrick couple turnovers for me that might.
Well, let me ask you this: why do you think the Panthers are gonna have a hard time running?
Well, because Mike, like the Steelers, yes, last year they were absolutely terrible against the run. And yes, TJ Watt, like the other Watt brother, doesn't play team defense, so you can always hit them in that crevice. But they are a little bit better against the run this year. And like the runs they allowed against Baltimore isn't the type of runs that Carolina is going to throw at them. Carolina fucking ISO up the middle 40 times a game. They were trying to play the read option.
No, yeah, you're right, and I don't think you can take that Baltimore film and just throw it out because I don't think it really matters. Because you're right, the Panthers' offense is not similar to Baltimore's at all. But even if you look at like the Atlanta game and the Colts game, like teams that are far inferior running teams than the Panthers are right now, they were able to run on them. The problem that those two teams did is that they got away from it. I don't know why Atlanta's been doing this all year, but they don't like giving the ball to Cordero Patterson anymore up the middle. And that's stupid. They probably would have beat Pittsburgh if they had continued to feed them. The Panthers will not do that. They've proven that they're gonna run it even if it's not working. Like even on 3rd and 6, they'll try to run it. You know, their top goal is to not make Sam Darnold throw for good reason. And I think Darnell. I just think over 4 quarters, like that'll beat them down. That'll beat Pittsburgh down, and I think this defense at home is going to outlast the Steelers' offense. So, I really think this is a money pick for the Panthers. Like I really do. You guys know I'll come out and say like when I think the Panthers are going to get killed. Like when I think they're on upset alert when they have to play Detroit next week at home. But I think they're going to come out and just like win by 6 at least against the Steelers.
Someone in the live chat said if the refs allow it. We reached that point in the NFL where Tom Brady might lose another game, and listen. I'm not even one of these type of guys, but that has to be in the back of your head.
Yeah, and it depends on who the ref is. I'll tell you this: if the Panthers win this week and the Bucs lose, both teams will be 6-8, and we're gonna play Tampa Bay in 2 weeks, probably for the division. You bet your ass off that I will be so nervous about the officiating going into that game.
As you should. But yeah, like, listen, I think this game, I wouldn't bet this game. It's kind of similar to like when we had Baltimore plus 2.5 last week. I felt more confident about it than this game. Can't say I feel too confident. But I do think Carolina runs it better, which in these type of games, it makes a difference. But I do think, I will say something right now. Mike, you've been listening to me talk about football for a long time, like 5-6 years. I got to say, man, I think if Mitch Trubisky starts, I think he can make more plays than Sam Darnold. Yes, the 3 interceptions were absolutely brutal last week. Brutal, like about as brutal as it gets. Sam Darnold sucks, man. Like, and I know it's easy points to go on and like bag on him. And like Sam Darnold's a really cool guy, but he's really bad, man. He's really bad.
See, I don't think he's good, but he hasn't been terrible over the last couple weeks. Like he has yet to turn the ball over since he's been back in there, and that's an improvement for him. I don't think he's good, and you can tell when he's out there, he's making a deliberate effort to not throw an interception or to not fumble. But when you have a defense and run game that's this good, that's all you can ask for. And I think having a good offense,
really good.
yeah, and I think having a good offensive line for the first time in his career has really helped him out as well. You can see him like he's not really stuttering in the pocket as much as he used to, and just you remember last year when he would just run for no reason. He's not doing that as much anymore. He's actually standing there and like taking stepping up in the pocket and delivering the ball with confidence, which is not something we could say about him over the last couple of years. So, I mean, I don't think he's good. I still want to draft a quarterback. I know we talk about me being a big Sam Darnold fan. I'm not. I just loved him a lot more than Baker Mayfield. I just like him a lot more than what Baker Mayfield was doing, a couple months ago.
Hey, man, I got the Rams to cover this week.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, let's pivot because Mike almost convinced me to for the Panthers.
Wait,
but yeah,
I have one more question. Sorry, what's someone asked what the over-under on this game. What's the over-under?
I believe it's 38.5. Let me go check. I'm curious about that too. What are you going under?
I
it's
have
37.5.
I would, if it's 37.5, I would go under. I have the final score is 24-13 right now, and that's with garbage time included. So if it's close, I definitely think the losing team will score less than 20 or less than 17. I'm sorry.
I don't know who gets
I'm on the under, but it'll be close. I was pretty confident in the over last week, and thankfully we got it right. But this week is more up for debate.
Before I get out of here, can I just tell you guys that for the second time all year, and I might throw up after I say this, I'm on the Raiders.
Yeah, tell us why, because this is game I can't touch.
Right? So I don't, even last week, New England's defense won that game, right? Obvious. Did you see anything out of Mac Jones that was impressive? Because I didn't. The Raiders, when they're favorites, no. You know what I mean? I think they're at home. I just don't think there's going to be enough from, I don't know, Devontae Parker or Hunter Henry.
Devontae Parker's going to be out of this game.
Okay, so that's even worse. Jonnu Smith. I mean, I don't even know who these people are anymore. So I think between Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, I think this is pretty much a pick 'em. When the Raiders are in a pick 'em situation at home, this is when they're going to win. They're gonna have enough firepower to make some downfield plays. They're going to look like hot shots, and I really think that the Raiders squeak this one out. I almost want to make it a mind pick.
You're saying they're going to win, not just cover.
It's only one.
Yeah.
The Raiders are the underdog.
Oh, well. Okay.
They're getting a point.
I can't ever bet on the Raiders. That should be one of our new rules of gambling.
I'm the biggest Raider hater all year. I last week I said they could screw up a wet dream, right? So because they do, they're ahead and then they lose. But I think if they get ahead in this game, there's no Baker Mayfield coming in and throwing to whoever. There's no Joe Burrow coming in and lighting it up with Jamar Chase. There's no, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody that's gonna come from behind and you know what I mean? The New England
but Lauren, when you're saying there's no Baker Mayfield on 2 days' notice to be afraid of, at what point do we just say the Raiders suck and we can't touch them? So that's about as bad as it gets, right? Come on.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying this is where I'm going with this. Is that they screwed up royally. So they, you know what I mean? They didn't plan for Baker, and clearly I was on the Rams last week to beat them. I just think that there's more explosive players now. Whether or not the Raiders use them and utilize it, I think the Raiders win. I've got them to win. I already played it.
Yeah, I guess what I want to ride the Raiders, because listen, They have a top 3 receiver in stats, top 5 pass rusher in stats, top number 1 running back in the league. You would think they would be able to.
I think Mac Jones is on his ass quite a bit.
Raiders never cease to surprise me.
Right. That's why this is a game. This is a game when everybody wants to go against them, and like how they like to screw things up, they'll screw it up if you bet against them this week. I think personally.
Yeah. Before you go,
I know I'm going out on a limb.
Let's get to the Rams one because I know I really like the Rams +7.
I love the Rams
when I picked it on Tuesday, but I love it. Tell us why you like it.
I love the Rams. Who is Green Bay going to beat by 8 points all year? Who? Besides Chicago, maybe. Anybody? Nobody. None. No. Nobody.
The other thing too about the Rams, the last 2 weeks, like they've actually been playing with effort. They've been playing with heart, and that's something you can bet on, like late in the season with a bad team.
Yeah. I just don't see. I mean, I know
with an
that
8-point spread.
Christian Watson is going to get Jalen Ramsey, so I'm sure he'll make some plays. He's going to have Jalen Ramsey on him. I don't know. Is the defensive guy for the Rams back?
Aaron Donald looks like he will play.
Okay. So now the Rams might even win. Okay. Like, honestly, like I don't see Green Bay beating anybody by 8 points. I don't know that they could beat Houston by 8 points. And you want to tell me they're going to beat the Rams?
No, I think the Rams have a coaching matchup advantage here. I don't think
absolutely Sean McVay all day.
I don't think LaFleur's taken enough criticism this year. Like, I think that is a factor in this game. And like you said, Aaron Donald coming back. The Packers only run it. Like, I listen, I know that Packers magic happened against the Cowboys, but everyone's got to kind of put that out of their head. That's not who they are.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Even if it does something like that, even if the Packers have some sort of you're going into overtime, you still got to win by 8. You can't. So it's impossible. So if you're going to give me 8 points with the Rams, a newly invented Rams that have Jalen Ramsey that's going to be on Watson and that have Aaron Donald on the other Aaron Rodgers, even if Green Bay wins, which at home in Lambeau they might, even if they win, does anybody think they're going to win by 8? I don't.
Yeah,
Rams is one of my money picks. I'm already on it. I got the whole West Coast. I had San Fran last night. I got the Chargers, the Rams. I'm on the whole West Coast.
You got the Panthers? Oh well.
No, I didn't say that. I'm staying the hell away from that game.
Hey, you came on last week and said that you were very confident in Seattle covering, and I was not.
No, this is my exact words were this. What does everybody know that I don't know? That a team that hadn't won a game on the road all year, and you know what it was? It was Kenneth Walker. Okay, that was the X factor right there last week.
No, for sure. Yeah, I agree. If Kenneth Walker played, we could have easily lost that because Geno Smith was a one-man show on Seattle's offense.
Exactly that. And that was my thing last week. I said, what does everybody know that I don't know? What is the secret? And apparently Kenneth Walker's injury was a lot more than I knew of. And so that's why I asked that question. I never said, I didn't say they couldn't do it. I just said, what does everyone know that they haven't won a game on the road all year? So why are we thinking they're going to go upset Seattle? Well, you know what? Because the run game in Seattle is absolute dumpster fire trash without Kenneth Walker. So there you have it. That's why you guys won that. Because they couldn't move the ball. And Geno Smith, God bless him, but he, like you said, he was a one-man show all game. And and somebody in the chat asking me about the Saints this week. I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I mean, they should probably win.
That goes.
I don't bet my own team. Everybody knows that, but I mean, I think Atlanta's starting Desmond Ridder, right? I think Mariota walked away. Mariota walked away from football this week. I think he's gone.
Is that true? I saw the report. Is that a real thing?
I think it's a real thing.
It's
Jeez.
complicated because I guess he had a kid and it looked pretty bad because he did this once he was benched. So it looked pretty bad. But
well, they put him on the IR or something. And I don't know. And then he left. So Desmond Ridder, the kid won a lot of games in college, but this is the NFL. The Saints defense has been suspect this year, but they've also been good when they, so you're going to put this new kid in New Orleans against a pretty decent Saints defense and an Atlanta defense that can't stop warning water. Maybe 4 is too many. Maybe it's a 3-point game. I don't know. I got the Saints. I would take the Saints money line if I could go that route, but I don't know that I want to live. I don't know that I want to leave lay 4, but I don't know that I could get on Atlanta to cover either. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This game goes firmly in the category for me of what Lawson likes to call "who the heck knows," because really, who the heck knows? With a new quarterback in there,
You got
and the Saints
rookie in there.
Saints are an inconsistent team. You can't touch this one. But Lawson, I have a question though. So you've been hating a lot on Andy Dalton lately. And I'll be honest, I don't really understand it. I thought he's been fine. I thought he played pretty good against Tampa Bay and that his receivers just let him down one too many times. I'm curious to know what you're seeing because you've never been an Andy Dalton supporter.
3 trips in the red zone against San Fran, comes away with nothing. The Baltimore game on Monday night, Baltimore had pretty much their whole offense injured. It's almost like he's playing to make his stats look good on the metric table, kind of like what Rodgers has been doing this year a little bit. I don't know. I just think Andy Dalton's really bad, and I think this Tampa Bay defense has holes. I think you should be able to put up more points against them. But like you said, receivers didn't play good. I think Dalton's pretty bad, man, and I don't know if he's the guy to be able to lay the points you need against the Falcons. Listen, you got to put up a lot of points against the Falcons, but against the Falcons, you're only going to get so many drives. It's think about Commanders, Giants this week. I like the Giants plus 4.5 because I think there's going to be limited drives in the game. That's the thing with the Falcons. No one can cut your drives. Maybe the Commanders can cut your drives better than the Falcons, but the Falcons can really do it. And I think getting Ridder in there, I think it's going to be a spark. Thirdly, trying to go into the psychology of the Saints, I do feel like they're done. The way their defense just kind of folded against Tampa. Yes, there was complete ref involvement. There's a little bit ref ball there. I'm not going to try to get over that, but got a really old defense. I do feel like that's one of the type of teams that's going to check out these last, 3 weeks. That's where I'm at on it. It is a little bit of a gamble because we don't know what Ritter's going to do. Looked pretty good during the preseason, but we know that means fuck all. That's where I'm at. I think the Falcons cover, really like it. Don't know if I'll put it in though, because it's one of those ones that is risky, and the Saints are the better team, let's be honest. But
I'm curious to see if Atlanta tries to run the ball more with a rookie in there. Because that's the thing. Atlanta was doing just fine until they started thinking that Mariota was Patrick Mahomes and letting him throw more. If they had stopped doing that, and if they had just leaned on their run game like they were doing earlier in the year, they might be in the lead for the division right now.
And someone asked over under for the Falcons game. I like the under. It's not as definitive. The over under I like most this week is 48.5 with the Bears Eagles. That's dangerous though, because we don't know if the Eagles are going to go hard on them, but that Chicago defense is really bad.
I think that goes over.
Does anybody think, before I head out of here, does anybody think that Chicago can cover this? It's 9.
Do, but I'm so worried about their defense, Lauren.
Mike,
how many points do you think that Chicago's going to put up to cover? Because for me, we're getting to at least the 30s.
Right?
I think Philly's getting into the 30s at least. Chicago's going to have to get at least 24, or something like that out in order to make this close. It would have to be, it would have to be a good garbage time performance for sure. But I do really like the over as well because Fields is good and he can do that. But I'm not touching the spread.
He can run.
Yeah,
obviously. And what do you think of Cincinnati, Mike? In Tampa?
Oh, I think they're going to kill Tampa Bay. I'm with you this week. No,
You're with me
on this game. Like, you can't even just look at like football and think who's going to play better, what quarterback's going to play better, which offensive line is going to block. You have to worry about these Bucs games. But
Listen,
the Bucs are not good. Just because they're going to the playoffs probably, and whatever they've won 6 games. Okay, so I said
they ain't going to the playoffs.
Okay.
They ain't going to the playoffs.
They're getting them there.
All right. Well,
we ain't
you know what?
I'm
God
just kidding. They
bless
probably
us,
will.
everyone, if they don't. Wonderful. But I'm just saying they're not. They cannot hold a candle to this Cincinnati team right now.
No, and listen, I know betting against Tom. I think what Vegas wants you to think, or wants you to like have your mind thinking when betting, is okay. The Bengals are going to be leading by like 6 with 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and now you have to bet against Tom Brady in that situation. That's what they want you to think. I don't think it's going to come down to that. I think the Bengals
they're going to be up so high, so far.
I don't think it's going to matter.
It's not going to matter. Look, and Brock Purdy just. I mean, everyone's talking jokes about him, but he's playing well. He just put up 30-something points against that Tampa defense. What do you think Joe Burrow's going to do?
Same thing. I think this is just like a spread where you just, got to keep your head down, put the money on Cincinnati, and just see what the results bring you. Like,
damn right, Michael. Damn right.
Yeah.
Let's go Bengals.
Yeah, let's go Bengals, I guess, for the week.
Yeah. And Jamal Dean is out, who I think is one of the best corners in the league. He's out for Tampa. That's not going to help. Winfield's hurt in the secondary.
No.
It looks like I think Higgins and Boyd both play.
They do. Yeah, I do too. And you got Jamar Chase out there. There's only so much. You know what I mean? There's only so much you can cover and double cover, and then if that's the case, you got 2 runners like Mixon and Perrine, and Burrows can run himself. So let's not forget that. So anyone that is doubting Cincinnati this week, I'm obviously not.
Yeah, we should end on that because I gotta go put the bet. I gotta check.
I do too. I gotta get to poker. So y'all have a good night.
I gotta
and
make a drive.
Good luck, everyone, this weekend. Hey, Lawson, if you got a video coming out tomorrow, I'll watch it because I'm anxious to see what you think.
Oh, sounds good.
Do a live stream. Stream the game.
Yeah,
I'll
do a live
you really should.
I would love it. I would love a Lawson cast.
A Lawson live stream on YouTube. Like, I think it'd be killing it.
Oh my god! We might have to jump in there too, Mike. That would be
it's easy with this Streamlab. This shit is awesome. Like,
what time is the Vikings game tomorrow?
1.
Is it
1 o'clock?
Okay.
So here are the games tomorrow, so everyone knows. Vikings, Colts, 1 o'clock. I think 4:15 is Ravens, Browns. Then the night game, Dolphins, Bills. That's pretty decent. Could be better, but could be way worse.
I mean, that's. Yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow.
Dolphins Bills is the night game. Man, that's gonna be cold.
And it's gonna be snowy. It's gonna be
dude.
It's gonna be like 18 degrees.
I envy for those Miami boys. That's not fun.
They're gonna need more than butt warmers on the benches. That's for sure,
dude.
Yeah, like what we were talking about. I don't know if you heard, but Mike, they brought the heaters to Los Angeles when it was 58 degrees.
Oh, come on.
No, they did. And it's just a bad look when you're losing football games, man.
Yeah. Oh, man.
All right. Hit the like button, share the videos. Everyone have a good weekend. Thank you for coming on, Logan and Mike.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It's always awesome.
And Mike, we got to get that game of Madden in.
Dude, I'll be home this weekend. I'll get my Xbox back, and it's on.
Sounds good. I'm going to go now. See you, man.
See ya.
Okay.